if you were a kid and I was like pretending to like work out, right? And I like topless James in some sweatpants and he's 8 years old, I'd come upstairs and grab like a glass of milk.
Didn't you think that
because those are the commercials?
That's the commercials. I was going to say that's what like the cool kids do. Just like, you stand in the refrigerator with it open, right? And just like, throw it back.
I didn't.
It's just funny how, like my sons love milk. Like they drink milk every night. They're toddlers. And it's just even the smell of it to me is so gross.
All right, welcome back into Scoop City. I'm James Palmer. We have drama in Dallas. What's the latest with Dak? We have a quarterback named in Indianapolis. It's not Anthony Richardson. What's his future? I don't know. Maybe Dianna knows. We're going back to school as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am joined now, always, by senior NFL insider Dianna Russini. Dianna, you're heading to, we were just chatting, you're heading to D.C. right after we right after we tape this. Are you like a pack your bag early, but more importantly, are you unpack immediately?
It's so funny. It's such a great question to ask on a day that I'm about to run to the airport the second we finish this. Nothing is packed. There's a bunch of stuff on the bed right now, but nothing is actually in the suitcase.
They sell suitcases at the airport. You could just put it in a trash bag and buy a suitcase at the airport. It's an old David Tell joke.
Have you ever traveled without anything? Like just nothing, like just your phone, your wallet, just because it was a day trip. Have you ever done that before?
I think maybe a backpack for my laptop.
Yeah.
That's about it.
There's no.
But I've done where like they've called, like I've gotten a call from the assignment desk in the airport and say, hey, I got travel on this call as well. You're no longer going to Terminal A. You're going to Terminal B, and now you're going here. And I'm like, ooh. Well, I don't have anything packed for there. And you just change because news breaks and something happens. Yeah. That's happened to me a couple of times. And then you wind up in Miami when you packed for New England. And you're not looking real good out there.
I just like that feeling, though, of being able to walk through. Like, I don't like I'll check a bag just to get rid of it because I don't want to walk around with one. Not that I'm
easy breezy.
Not that I'm ever there early, but for the times I am there, I love just getting rid of it. I just had this happen to me the other day when I flew home from Minnesota because I was sitting in the back of the plane. I had to be the one to check the bag that I had as a carry-on. I hate don't you feel like such a loser? Like I got chosen.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep the status up. That's the big thing. You get on there early.
I'm losing out on that.
Hopefully you're not the loser that goes walking back up. I don't have a place for my bag. Listen, all right, here we go. This is what we got on tap for us today. We are, going through rookie summer school, Dianna. We're going to talk about some rookie running backs. We're going to do that. The Colts, obviously, I mentioned, named a quarterback. What does this mean for both guys and Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard? I kind of want to get into that, the general manager, as well. But we're going to start with Micah Parsons and the rest of these guys with hold-ins and holdouts. So this is what we're hearing around the league. Dianna, let's start with Micah, because this has become obviously the most talked about sports story of the entire summer, even more so than my Red Hot Phils. But listen, it's because it's Dallas, it's because it's unique, but I think it's because it's with a unique player and agent as well. Is there any movement, any change right now as we speak on a Wednesday?
We say it's status quo, but I think it's important to just highlight what's happening here. Even if Micah wanted to open up this negotiation to remain a Dallas Cowboy, the Cowboys are not allowing that because they won't talk to his agent. Like, you can't negotiate a deal if you don't talk. So what next, right? Like, what happens here? Somebody's going to have to give. The agent can't do anything because the owner doesn't want to talk to him. So it's going to be on Jerry if he wants to do the deal to pick up the phone and say, all right, let's put that to rest or put that to bed. Let's renegotiate. But I don't know if that is going to happen. I feel like in the past with other deals, I always had belief that Jerry would just put aside the ego and open up the wallet and get the player that he needs on the field. This is going to be a lot of backtracking by him. I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that.
Yeah, I have to say, bold strategy, Cotton, during negotiations, just you know what? I refuse to negotiate. I just refuse to pick up the phone. I won't talk to anybody. Like, that's really kind of the approach right now. Like, he's almost just sitting there doing these interviews, whether it's at the premiere of the Netflix documentary or it's when he's speaking, up there in Oxnard or wherever it is. It's, oh no, a deal's pretty much done. Like, Micah and I agreed, and I don't need to talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
First off, a deal can't happen that way. Legally can't happen that way. Not sure like where we go from here, because you can't negotiate that way. But I guess this is a story, Dianna, because as each day goes by, it is a story because we're a day closer to the start of the season. And is Micah Parsons going to sit out games? Is he going to miss time? He is slated to make $24 million this year, which is no number to slouch at by any stretch. Do you see this coming to a point? And to me, the most logical thing right now, if a deal doesn't get done, is he just plays this year. He could be miserable, and he just plays on it.
I don't believe they've made a decision on what they want to do. I don't
Dallas.
think they're... No, Micah.
Or you mean Micah?
I think, right, because he can make a decision. First of all, he's dealing with a back injury. So you
really?
You have that. So it just depends on whether or not he's healthy enough to play. We know how sometimes these situations go. When you have an injured player with a contract situation, it tends to take a little bit longer to get back out on the field. Signing something that they like usually heals them up real quick. I feel like a month ago when we were talking about this, I felt like this was such a waste of a conversation. Because I felt so strongly that Jerry would just do what he's done with CeeDee Lamb, what he's done with Dak Prescott, and just wait to the final hour and get this done, and we're going to hear something. And, when we're both talking to people around the league, general managers, head coaches, agents, even players who we're seeing down on the ground, and, you're making conversation about the big stories in football, Micah's not one of those stories at this point that is the way it was a month ago. Where I think everyone is like, something's not right here. This is not the same Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones contract situation because he's not negotiating. But he can always come back around. Jerry could do it. But something about this feels really firm that he doesn't want to move it forward because they believe they have the player under contract. And from a contract standpoint, I get, they do have the leverage, knowing that they can use that tag next year.
No, 100%. I mean, it feels like there's something else there.
Don't you
something
feel
else that isn't being said?
Doesn't this feel like you? Like we've covered a million of these.
It has a different feel, and it has a different feel than previous ones in Dallas. The funny part is I was talking to somebody in Dallas just the other day, and I was like, we've actually had a pretty good camp outside of the Micah thing. Camp's actually been pretty good.
Like spirited and outgoing, Micah Parsons is, whether it's his podcast or if you've ever been around him, you can't miss him. From what I can gather, this is like very business to him. Like, I'm not sensing, I'm sure he's frustrated. He wants to play, but he's aware that this is just business. This isn't personal, that this is just something that he's got to do in order to get paid what he's worth. A deal that I think everyone in football thought would be easy. Like, I thought this was the layup contract.
It's supposed to be, right? You draft a player. I think you actually traded back and still got Micah, if I'm correct. You draft a player who's on like a Hall of Fame trajectory here early on, and he plays a premium position. These are the deals that get done. These are the ones that get done in some organizations early because the price usually only goes up. Listen, let's stick with the position and move on to Trey Hendrickson, which I think this one has a little bit different feel, but I think a little bit more is known, if that makes sense. I think we kind of know wholeheartedly where Trey Hendrickson stands. We know where the Cincinnati Bengals stand in terms of guaranteed money. I believe he said it on the record again to Laura Rutledge on the sideline.
We know because we're hearing it. Exactly. Yeah. Like they're telling us. There's no sourcing. There's no us just reporting behind the scenes. It's like,
this is the problem.
Trey's like, hey, this is what I want. Hello, world. I don't think I'm asking. And I think that's actually what's motivating him to say it, because he's not asking for something that's unreasonable. You know, that's where people around the league are looking at what the Cincinnati Bengals have been doing and don't truly understand why this is so difficult. Yes, the age and part of that, but you look at the need that this team has.
Yeah, and for everybody at home, Dianna, tell them, like, so few teams still operate in this contract structure around the league where they don't want to guarantee past the first year. That is not the norm. I mean, it's the norm with a couple of teams, but it's not the norm around the league. And breaking precedent is always when you have these issues where contracts are stalled, right? And negotiations are stalled because somebody has to give. This organization has to change the way they've done business continuously. But they did it for the two other players that are on the same roster, in Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So I understand why Trey is doing this. I do think there is an unknown, and we'll get to Terry McLaurin, that he'll miss games. I don't know if he will. I don't know if Micah will miss games. He hasn't really, to my understanding, said that he's going to miss time. He'd like to be traded, but he didn't say he'd like to miss time. Trey has kind of said, I'm not playing on this contract. And you've spoken to him. I think everybody kind of believes him.
I mean,
does that go higher?
I've seen the threat in the past, right? And then it doesn't come to fruition. They wind up playing. But in most cases, the deal gets done before we have to even get there. I think Trey's situation, so we talk about feelings and taking deals personally. I think he's a type of player. His strength is the passion and his care for the game and his teammates. I don't think this is easy at all on him. And he has shared that. And when I say not easy, I'm not saying like he can't handle it at all. I'm saying more, he wants to be out there. He doesn't feel that he's asking for something that is unfair. And he's aware that his teammates need him. Joe Burrow knows the Cincinnati Bengals need him. So
what do you think Joe's doing right now? I gotta be honest. I feel like Joe's sitting here going, I played pretty well last year. And when I say pretty well last year, he could have won the MVP if the team was better, clearly. Are you guys horsing around with my prime?
Yeah. Like why is it gotta be so hard? It has to
go through his head.
And even the whole situation with Trey, it's not like they didn't see this coming, right? They've been talking about this for a while, and they've communicated. I mean, he thought he was showing up to camp, and that obviously has all changed. Now, look, things can still get moving here. I feel like we probably should have started this whole conversation with, because you have to do this because we don't want to freak anyone out, that what we're saying is set in stone, because things do move really quickly. I'll
take somebody to pick up the phone.
All this stuff can get done, right? Yeah. Like it can. But this one, it seems like both sides are really sort of stuck in the mud on this and unwilling to give. Because here's the other thing: when you are so public about this, and I've learned this over the years when dealing with players. Do tell. If you're going to come out and say you want something, right? I want to be the highest paid, or I want this type of guaranteed money. Once those words come out of your mouth, it is tough to eat it and get back on the field without whatever that is that you were asking for. There's a lot of ego there too.
100%. And I'll say this. You mentioned the distraction and holding in and everything. Cincinnati has never cared if the player makes any sort of stink or any sort of distraction. It just doesn't seem to bother them as an organization at all during these things. And you mentioned a player might have to just take something that's less. That could be Terry McLaurin. This was a narrative throughout the course of this offseason, Dianna, that he is a $30 million receiver. The DK Metcalf comp has been thrown around so many times because of the same draft class, because obviously DK's 2 years younger, but that $20 million receivers a couple years ago are now $30 million receivers. It's just a given Terry's there. This almost feels like if he wants a new deal, he may have to be below that 30 number. He is off PUP. He is going to be ramping his conditioning back up. Is there any movement at all outside of status on the roster?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to Washington on the ground to see what's going on there, because his agent's been around Terry's been around. I don't think he's been going out on the field as much when the media's around. Okay. I think he's kind of over us all asking him questions about it. There's been no significant movement at this point in terms of getting this deal done. But of all the ones we talk about outside Cam Heyward, which we'll touch on in a second here, this one continues to be the one we see moving in a really good direction. For example, the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings are all in the market for wide receivers right now.
Okay.
Sure.
We got some injuries in some rooms. I get it. Yep.
Terry McLaurin would be quite the little pickup.
You think?
There'd be a lot to work out there, but I do think teams would be interested outside of the ones I just named. And when you have conversations around the league about availability, Terry's not one of those. Like, teams are continuing to get the same answer from Washington, which is we're trying to work a deal out here. So until that changes, and look, there could always be private conversations that we don't know about that maybe a team is like, hey, I'll do this or this, depending on how this comes together. But I think Washington is still committed to getting this done. It's just going to be where's going to be the give? Because I think it's been made pretty clear here. The age is the biggest factor, and the number. And you talk about the APY and it looking similar to the DK Metcalf. There's parts of the DK Metcalf contract that he wants. He's actually asked for more per year than DK Metcalf, but there's parts of the guarantees that he would want similar. So it's just going to, again, I have a hard time believing Washington will do that. First of all, if Washington was going to do it, it would be done. So we already know the answer. So until they can come up with a number in guarantees and APY that Terry's going to be happy with, I still think this is going to go another few days. I don't have a day of like, all right, this is going to be like a Jerry situation where the night before the game we're going to find out. People just keep telling me this is trending in a good direction. So that has to tell me that someone's got a little give in them.
I like that. You got to have a little give. You know what I mean? And I think Washington knows this offense is not very good without Terry McLaurin. That's a big thing there, and the development of your franchise quarterback in year two and making sure he doesn't take a step back, a la say C.J. Stroud in year two, and that offense not really going in a positive direction in year two. You have to fire the offensive coordinator. Things get so bad. You want to make sure you're stacking years here for a guy like Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, a big part of that. You mentioned Cam Heyward. This has been kind of the quiet one. And this one fascinates me, Dianna, because he just signed a deal, a year ago? I feel like what's happening in Pittsburgh is the worst kept secret on the planet is that we are all in 2025. This is it. We got A-Rod for a year. We went and, we moved Minkah Fitzpatrick and we bring in Jalen Ramsey. We get Darius Slay, who probably has another year left in him, and that's it. And it is this year.
Jonnu Smith, by the way, thanks, Miami.
We appreciate it. Thank you. We could use a little help in the tight end room that's already pretty deep, by the way, and massive. And TJ Watt's like, well, they're all in. I think I got some leverage here. And now I feel like Cam Heyward's like, well, they're all in. I feel like I got some leverage here. Hell, Chris Boswell, the kicker, is like, they're all in. I think I got a little leverage here.
The next time we ask a coach about that, right? Because we always ask that in our interviews of like, are you guys talking Super Bowl around here? They're going to, maybe they should use this as an example. Not that Mike Tomlin come out and said Super Bowl, but I love the way you put that because it's so true about the worst kept secret because they aren't out there screaming and yelling. And I got to say, for an Aaron Rodgers led team, this is nowhere close to the attention it was getting in New York, right? It's not even a sliver. And granted, they had Hard Knocks, remember, in Aaron's first year. So that had a lot of attention and he was incredible to watch in practice. That was the most amount of Jets practice I think I've ever been to in my life. It was fun to think about what it could have been. So, I do think. Well,
nobody wants to go to Latrobe either, Dianna. I mean, let's be honest. It's not easy to get to on your training camp trips. I mean, I always hated you got to go to Pittsburgh and then rent a car and then drive and. Maybe that's keeping some people away. Yeah,
that compared to, a 25-minute drive from my house. Big difference. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Latrobe, you're beautiful, though. We love you there.
It is gorgeous.
But yeah, look, I like this idea. I've been hearing things from just even Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith's relationship already. You know, I think there were a lot of question marks. Like, could this work?
There were.
And I think from even just, I remember talking to guys when he wasn't a coordinator in Tennessee, just what makes Arthur Smith so great. And he's really good at almost, I don't want to call him a chameleon, but he has an ability to kind of work with the star that he has to work with and make that person shine.
Very true.
Whereas I think we've seen a lot of coordinators in the past, they want to do it their way, their playbook. They know all. Arthur knows a lot. He is a smart man, but I don't think he's got that kind of ego. And he's got a little weird in him, and that's a compliment because that works great with Aaron Rodgers. Do you see that? Viral?
I like when he rocks the mustache.
You know, like we'll do a segment on mustache it or not. Have you ever had a mustache?
Mustache or must not?
Yeah, mustache.
Yeah. Mustache or
Wait,
must
have you
not?
ever had one? Can you grow a mustache?
No. I've never even thought about it.
Yeah, you're too clean. You're too sharp.
Too clean shaven.
Why would you cover that face up? That's what I always think. Like, if you're putting that on there, then you must not. You're covering.
Yeah, there must be something you disagree with.
You're hiding something. But look, I don't think Cam Heyward is hiding that he wants to get paid because, look, he's the captain of that team. He is the guy. And look, he's back out on the field. He's participating in individuals. He's participating in team drills. What does that usually tell you? Stuff's trending, right? Does that? I have no information at this point that conversations are moving forward, but I usually just go off what the players' decisions are in terms of the practice field. And if players are willing to get back out there, they usually feel good about something. A conversation was probably had. So we'll see how this one shakes out.
It's almost like when you're at his age, and what is he, 36, I want to say?
He is 30.
So off the top of my head, I think he might be.
37, but who cares? Same thing.
Yeah, but like usually it's like, well, we'll give him this contract because the play is probably going to go down. And it just kind of hasn't gone down. He's just still been really, really good. His $14.5 million annual salary on this 2-year deal he signed in September ranks 23rd amongst interior defensive linemen, if you'd like to know that. And speaking of contracts, and let's switch into the quarterback position. The Indianapolis Colts, Dianna, gave Daniel Jones $14 million. That's more than Aaron Rodgers signed for with the Pittsburgh Steelers to come in and battle for the starting job. He ends up winning the starting job. Now, we do got to mention here, and I'd like your take on Daniel Jones, what we could see from the Colts this year now that he is their starter, and Shane Steichen said he's their starter for the season. I don't know what else he would say, but he's their starter for the season. And then we'll get into, I think, the more juicy topic is what is next for Anthony Richardson. But why was it Daniel Jones, and what do you think we'll see in Indianapolis?
Yeah, let's blow through this real quick just because I feel like fans don't want to hear this from us because they're going to be like, well, why didn't you tell us? We talked about best kept secrets. Well, there was a secret in Indy, which was that Daniel Jones was the most consistent quarterback all camp.
That's the word.
Right? So was he blowing the doors off? No. But in terms of just doing the little things every day and running this offense the way Shane Steichen had drew it up and wanted it to look, he was doing that every day. And look, we've all seen plenty of Daniel Jones. We know what Daniel Jones is. But in terms of what they are just looking for right now for this offense, it wasn't a hard decision for this team to go with Daniel, knowing. Look, the contract is one thing, and usually we know how this
I think
works.
the contract's a little bit telling that he was coming in to truly have a legit shot to win the job,
He's
right?
not leaving Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings roster unless he knows he can start somewhere.
I don't think the Vikings thought he was going to leave. Do you? I think the Vikings thought there was a chance they could keep him in the room.
I do think the Vikings thought they had a chance. I think the way it was presented to Daniel Jones was more of a, hey, come to camp. We're all going to be out there. We're all going to be competing. But Daniel knows that when you have a young quarterback on your roster that you drafted high and you're invested in, they're probably going to lean towards getting him that development. So I think for Daniel Jones, he looked at the situation of, I want to start. I don't want to sit behind anyone. I don't want to deal with any politics. I can go to Indy, get paid great money, and also win the job. And I think he felt better about winning the job in Indy, which guess who was right?
Yeah.
He was right doing that, right? And that also
move.
tells me conversations were probably had with some people in the organization. And look, I think what makes this hard, and we can transition to talking about Anthony Richardson here. They picked him in hopes that he was going to be the guy and be the star. And he has not proven that. And this isn't anything against him personally. This is just obvious to me. If this is the team, the organization that picked him, and he is not starting, that tells you everything you need to know. Because teams usually tend to, using the Minnesota situation, right, is just like our example. Teams tend to lean towards the guy they drafted. That's just football. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Especially when jobs are on the line. And Shane Steichen, Chris Ballard, they need to win now. And in their opinion, the best shot that they have is with Daniel Jones under center.
Yeah, and I think you have to remember, this doesn't happen very often, Dianna, in the NFL, but when ownership changes, now it changed within the family, but it is now Jim Irsay's daughters that are running the show. You always do what if you're the general manager or the head coach? Is my job safe? Do they feel the same way about me as the previous owner felt about me? Chris Ballard's been there for 9 years. He drafted, obviously, Anthony Richardson. I know he doesn't want to give up on him. I know there's other people in the building that don't want to give up on him. There's so much talent, and it is so raw that the last thing you want is for him to go out there in another uniform and you see him lighting it up and using that talent, and it's been developed properly elsewhere, and it's been harnessed properly elsewhere, and you see him playing more on schedule, and you're seeing him figure these things out, and he does it in another uniform. Now, my understanding is that they did see growth in him, right? He changed his diet, he slimmed down, he, working with a private coach, changed his footwork. That helped with some of his accuracy issues, because when they went into this, Daniel Jones' accuracy versus his, definitely very different, and I definitely think he closed the gap a little bit. And they've seen his preparation change a little bit. I think what they want to see is that going to continue while you're the backup? I think that's a big part of it. Is it going to continue while you're the backup? Well, real quick, I want you to hear what Anthony Richardson had to say when he got the news about Daniel Jones landing the starting job, and he said this to local reporters.
He made a decision. That's the decision we got to live with. No hard feelings. It never personal. I just got to keep growing. I just can't let me not being a starter, stop me from growing and being the person, the player that I'm supposed to be. So I just got to stay focused and keep grinding.
Question. This is just my opinion. And just I've covered way too many quarterback battles. Do you want him to be a little more pissed off? I kind of do. I kind of want him to be a little more pissed off. Because I take no problem with a guy being pissed off.
See, I disagree. I think...
You want him to smile? He's smiling. Yeah, they picked the other guy. This is your career. I mean,
he's trying to stay out of the headlines and trying to show professionalism.
Okay.
I'm sure he's awkward by it all. I'm sure he's slightly embarrassed by some of this. But
that's a good way to put it. But don't you want to hear him dying of like, no, I'm pissed off. You know what? I'm going to work my ass off to get back and not be in this situation again. And I never want to feel like this again. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I'm never in a situation like this again. I don't know. I'd like to see a little fire there. And that's just me. Because I don't think there's a problem with saying that if you lose a real quarterback battle, which it was.
I wonder if he knew the whole time. If everyone else saw it. Right? This isn't so competitive that you're going, I wanted that. I could have won this job. Right? Like, this was, he's better than me. Like, he's better running this offense right now. That's kind of what I take that tone to be. But I think to just like put a bow on all this, it's just the consistency that's it. Cost him this job. And the only way, and Chase talks about it a lot, the only way you get better at playing football and playing quarterback is actual games. So yes, I like this idea of, is he going to stick with the regimen? Is he going to be great in practice?
He went on Dan Patrick I watched him, and he said, this is going to be great for Anthony Richardson. Get a chance to see it from a different perspective, from the sideline, get a chance to watch for a season. Okay, we'll have to talk to Chase on Monday about his contradictory statements. I will say this. We are talking about a quarterback battle.
I think Chase was talking, not to stick up for my guy, but I think that was Chase leaning into the growth that he believes the quarterback needs as a person. Yeah. That was more person. Okay. I did watch that as well. Look at us all supporting each other.
We got to support the Chase man. You know what I mean? I want to go out there and see what he has to say.
Shout out Chase on Dan Patrick. I love Chase on Dan Patrick.
I listen to Chase.
I text him after the interviews all the time. I'm like, that was so good. How come when you call me and I'm in the car and we're talking about stuff, you don't sound like that? Like you're annoying. You don't give me any intel. You just pepper me with questions. Like pretend I'm Dan Patrick.
Wow. Not all of us can be Adam Sandler's best friend, Dan Patrick. He brings that out of people. And the last part on this team and the quarterback battle we're talking about, because this is between two guys that dating back, Dianna, to 2023, quarterbacks with 10 or more starts, these are the two lowest passer ratings. Daniel Jones and then Anthony Richardson. So that is what Shane Steichen's working with. But I think they did go with Daniel Jones because I do believe they think this team is better than most people on the outside think it is. They won 8 games last year. They were abysmal at turning the football over. They couldn't really throw the football that well. They got I think a lot of home games at the beginning of their season, an easy finish. Like Tyler Warren is a huge addition. They're going to lean on Jonathan Taylor. I think they like their receiving group. I think they can win a very winnable division with maybe Steady Eddie back there or Steady Danny back there, even though that's not his nickname. I refuse to say the other one.
No.
I really do.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
All right.
Not on this show.
I mentioned Jonathan Taylor. Let's talk about some younger running backs coming up on Scoop City here. These rookie running backs. Could this impact your fantasy team? Could it impact the team that you're rooting for? These guys have massive roles within their offenses moving forward in 2025. We're going to talk about what we've heard about these running backs coming up. Welcome back to Scoop City. James Palmer with you. Senior NFL insider Dianna Russini joins me, and we are back to school, Dianna. The kids are back to school. We're going to talk about our back to school and what we remember about going back to school in a little bit to end of the show. What we loved, what we hated when you just, you skip down the sidewalk heading back to school.
Okay, what if I told you right now, though, you had to go back to school right now, a full school year, your junior year of high school. You had to do it. You weren't going to get paid. You had to go back to
like school. I'm Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
That's what you're saying? I'm Drew Barrymore? I would love it. I loved my junior year of high school.
So did I. Junior year
I was at my athletic prowess.
Same.
I was on fire. It was great.
Oh my God.
No. Okay.
We peaked junior year. That's what we just discussed.
Junior was dominant. I hit the coast senior year, and I was like coasting. I was so focused junior year. We can get into our accolades later.
Can't wait.
Upper Marion Area High School Athlete of the Year. No big deal. I like to keep that behind me to keep me grounded. These young running backs like to stay grounded and like to stay off the ground, honestly. But they have a lot to learn when they get to the NFL, Dianna. A lot to learn when they get to the NFL. And you sat down, honestly, with Aaron Jones, who knows, a thing or two about running the football and a thing or two about being a back in this league. And he talked to you about, what's it like to kind of tutor these younger guys.
It's definitely special to be able to provide a sparker, be the energy guy. And I try to, when we're in the huddle, I go around the huddle giving everybody knuckles, try to give them some words of advice. Let's get it going. Let's start this period. We're in the red zone. Nobody should stop us. Just little tidbits or something's not going right. Hey, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. The only team that's going to beat us is ourselves. Things like that. That you may need somebody in your ear. It's always good to hear somebody. Okay, good throw. Good run, good pass, good block. To hear that, to have that constant communication is great.
Okay, there it is. That's the spark that a good running back can provide to an offense, Dianna. That's the knuckles.
He is, by the way, you just watch it. He is just filled with joy and life and energy, and you just feel like you're a lazy human being when you're around him because he's just always wanting to work, but he's just happy. Like he's just like. So I don't know what he's doing, but I want a little bit of that, and I want to know what they're doing out there in Vegas right now because I'm hearing some good stuff.
Yeah, have Wonka jar it up. Let's start out there in Vegas, and we're going to talk about 3 running backs. We're going to start with the first one off the board, Ashton Jeanty. Obviously, everybody saw it. He goes out, massive car crash that he's involved in essentially on the field, goes to the medical tent, comes back out on the field, and then just runs people over again. What have you heard about Ashton Jeanty thus far that might make people's ears perk up just a little bit?
Yeah, I love that we get that quick clip, and it's a clip that you probably could have just taken from the Fiesta Bowl. Against Penn State with Abdul Carter. I mean, I think that's where the rest of the world, I mean, everyone knew about him, but that was when it was like, oh, this guy is really good. And then, of course, Spytex, the general manager's son, was like his biggest fan, and he gets drafted. But look, the offense there, it's a Chip Kelly offense. Remember, Chip was brought in.
Left my Buckeyes.
Highest paid offensive coordinator in football. Brought in there to run the ball, because that's what Chip does well. And he certainly has the right horse to do this. And we talk a lot about players being able to step in and have it really be seamless in terms of going from the level of college to professional. Yeah. This is the player that you're going to watch him this season, from what I hear, and you're never going to think this is a rookie, right? Just because he's done such a good job of breaking tackles and sticking to really just what his fundamentals are about, and he's already bringing that to Vegas.
Yeah, you hear so much hyperbole during the draft, right? When we make all our phone calls to everybody. And I remember talking to somebody, I'm like, he's LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm like, whoa.
I remember
and then somebody else is like, he's Emmitt Smith. I'm like, whoa. And then I remember talking to a third person and just telling them that, a running back coach in the league, and was like, no, that's spot on. Like, that's, and I'm like, holy, like, and you're right. Everything I've been told, he has lived up to it thus far, and he has picked up the 2 things that you really need to figure out very quickly if you want to be on the field as much as possible as a rookie running back. That's pass protection, catching the football out of the backfield. Maybe didn't catch it a bunch at Boise State, but they've seen him do both of those things very well, very quickly. I think there are plenty of people around the league that believe this is the rookie of the year. We'll see if that ends up happening. But all signs are pointing to a huge focal point of the offense.
I know, and going back to the draft, when you look back on this show, especially, we were talking a lot about like what GMs around the league were talking about, and obviously he was the name. But even the running back position as a whole, that was the shining bright star, offensive line and running back. It was like everyone knew they could find a star, and these are some of the stars, and New England certainly has theirs up there.
Yeah, fire away. TreVeyon Henderson. I mean, equally. First time he touches the football, what does he do? It was 100 yards on a kickoff return.
Where did it go from there?
I don't know. Oh, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I mentioned Ohio State. I watched every down this guy played in college. And splitting the backfield with Quinshon Judkins, little less wear and tear on the tires possibly. But the thing that I heard, Dianna, I want to curious if you've spent some time with Vrabel, you spent some time with Drake May around this team. So I really want your take. But the one thing that I was told repeatedly is a running back does not come out of college with these type of pass protection skills very often. It's unbelievable. It's through the roof. He's going to be a third down monster. He's going to catch a ton of balls. Imagine him in a Josh McDaniels offense and what he's going to get. He might be Drake May's best friend in terms of saving his ass on a backside blitz and picking it up, or being the safety valve on a dump off. TreVeyon Henderson, I haven't talked to a single person that hasn't been just blown away by what he's done in New England. What have they told you?
Remember when I was there and I said to you, I'm like, first of all, the first person I see on the field, it's him. Yeah. And this was with both teams. This was when the Patriots were practicing against the Vikings. It's like you cannot miss him. And you bring up Josh McDaniels, and, I was thinking about some of the backs that he had when he was a coordinator there. And you think James White, except James White, but faster. Like imagine that perfect little makeup.
Yep.
And as you know, from watching him as much as you did, he's quick
and
he's stepping in. And I think that's going to be the theme with these rookies, running backs that are studs, is they're making impact already. Like,
right away.
The New England Patriots, they don't have a lot of major playmakers that I think this is where we're going to see.
That's a good point.
Right? Go through it. Henderson, he may, like you said, the safety valve, like he may be the guy that Drake May is going to be dumping the ball off to a lot because they don't have that many weapons.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to see what Diggs' health is, right? And how impactful can he be on the outside? And you got like decent tight end. it's going to be interesting. It really is. The way he's used, I think it's going to be a lot. All right, RJ Harvey, right here in my backyard, the Denver Broncos draft pick, and part of, I know Sean Payton sat down with you. Everybody can go back and watch that video, talking about the added weapon that he got, Bo Nix, was the running back room. And that's J.K. Dobbins, and that's RJ Harvey. A lot of just initials, isn't it?
Yes, makes it easy for us. He's like 5'8", 195 pounds. That's like essentially me. He's like a bowling ball. Okay. Not 195 pounds, but yeah. And,
you hide it well.
I do. Thank you so much. I do like, I don't want to call it pressure. It's Sean Payton was very transparent that the area that they were not very good in last year was the run game. Like he called it out, and he's almost, I find, and I've been watching a lot of interviews that he's been doing, it's almost like he's testing this running back room as a whole. Like, hey, we're really good everywhere else. You dudes better come through because the running game is the weapon for us. That is what I supplied Bo Nix with this year. I didn't go out and get you another stud receiver. I obviously
great point.
Got a tight end, and we paid our receivers, but they didn't go nuts because they believe in fixing this run game with a fantastic and hopefully once again a healthy offensive line there in Denver.
Dianna, to a running back that may not be a big part of the team's offense moving forward, Brian Robinson Jr. and the Commanders did not play in the preseason game. It looks like he's headed elsewhere. What do we know?
Yeah, the reason why he didn't play in the game was because it was decided between the Commanders and Brian Robinson and his agent that it'd probably be best for him not to get out there because they are talking to teams right now and they are looking for a trade partner. Whether or not they're able to get that is another conversation. But right now, he's on the Commander roster, but teams around the league are aware that if they want to bring on Brian Robinson, the Commanders are also willing to take on some of that contract.
Okay.
That always kind of alerts the GMs around there because they don't ever want to pay any money for any of these players. So we'll see how this shakes out, but this isn't as new of an item as maybe it feels because, we saw them on Monday Night Football, so it became a big conversation, but the Commanders have been talking to other teams for a while about Brian Robinson. So we'll see what happens if they wind up trading him or, unfortunately, if they wind up having to make the decision to cut him.
Real quick, what's the reasoning? Because I know this isn't the regime that brought him in, right? This is a new GM, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. You know that Cliff likes to spread it out. I was talking to somebody last night about Brian, and they're just like, I feel like he's a pretty good player. And he's like 26, and he can still thump between the tackles. Is this just a fit thing?
No,
is that what this is?
Not so much a fit.
No?
It's they like who they have. They like it in their younger running back group, right? So that's what happens in some of these situations, as you know, just if they drafted a young player that they feel can handle this with no issue, then that's where they can start moving. And look, if they've been also having conversations about this even before camp, that tells you there's probably a little bit more there to it too in terms of the fit. So I said no on the fit immediately out of the gate, but that could be part of it as well.
Good part of it. Okay, I get it. I still think he can maybe be productive in some sort of role somewhere. So we'll.
Yeah, I don't think this is like the last we're going to hear of him. No way.
Yeah, no, I think he'll get scooped up pretty quickly, even if he is ends up getting cut. All right, one more block coming up here on Scoop City. Dianna and I hinted at our athletic prowess in high school, but now we're going to talk a little bit more about what we liked and disliked about the first day of school. What was that like for everybody at home? What was that first day like? Welcome back to Scoop City. I'm James Palmer with the Athletic senior NFL insider Dianna Russini. I need a title of some sort. I'm just James.
Mayor of Scoop City.
And you have there we go. Take two. I'm James Palmer, the mayor of Scoop City, along with the Athletic senior NFL insider Dianna Russini, and we're sticking with this camp tour. Diana's been making some stops, packing her bags, or apparently not packing her bags and just throwing them in a trash bag and buying luggage at the airport. When we went to school, our kids have started school. Have the boys started school?
We're in daycare, so we're going to start our first day in September. So it's going
to consider that school, honestly. If you leave to go somewhere,
Mike and Joey's teachers are teachers. Like they run a tight ship. That's school.
I call it school, exactly. So we're in school. We're in 7th grade. Whew, 7th grade. We went to school our first day on Tuesday, mustache and all. And talk about I'd never grown a mustache. She's already got one. But I want to hear the 3 things that you loved about the first day of school. And then we're going to start, and we're finish on a sour note.
I have so many.
The sad thing that we didn't like about the first day of school. So we can go back and forth here with our new things. You go first. What is something that you loved about the first day of school?
I loved going to the store with my mom to get all of my new supplies. I'd be so excited.
Supplies, not the clothes, the supplies.
The supplies. I loved getting a Trapper Keeper. I loved getting a pencil bag. I love new pens, new markers. I love stationery. For someone that's not organized and as someone that doesn't use any of those items ever in their life, I liked the idea. I think it represented who I wanted to be. It was like, I'm going to be the organized nerd.
Okay.
And by the 3rd day, it was like, the folders are over here, my binder is over there. And my mom knew her daughter very well, which is why I never got the Trapper Keeper that I wanted with the Velcro strap. I always had to get that cheap plastic flimsy one because she knew I was never going to keep my stuff organized anyway.
Wow.
You?
I love that. I love I don't love stationery, but I love the idea of stationery.
Right?
That's deep. That's several levels. I'm a little more superficial here. Getting a new pair of sneakers for school, and you'd go to Foot Locker, or back in Philly, I'd go to Modell's. Gotta go to Mo's. Gotta go to Mo's. Yeah, gotta go to Mo's. Modell's.
Wait, is Modell's a national store? Like, does everyone know what that is?
No, it's not national. Regional giant in the Northeast, Modell's. But I didn't get Jordans. I was a big Charles Barkley fan. There was a Barkley's that had the 2 Velcros that went across. And like showing up in your sweet kicks, and you knew like middle school, or they're going to be dirty as shit, like really, really quickly. But that first day, pair of Barkleys, pair of Chucks, because I still love Chuck from playing with the Sixers. Ooh, new kicks. New kicks a big deal. Okay, go ahead.
I remember when like classmates of mine would get the guys would get the pump one.
Pumps,
pump
Pump it up.
What did the pump do?
It pumped it up. Made you run faster, jump higher, like PF Flyers back in the day. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this one. I loved the smell of school on the first day.
Don't agree. Moving on.
Come on. You know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about.
Did you go to private school?
Has a scent. No, I went to public school. You went to private, right? You went to Catholic school?
No. Public school. Yeah.
I didn't know you went to public school. I thought everyone in Philly went to Catholic schools.
I think all my friends that you know, because you do know a lot of my friends, they all went to private school.
Oh, that's probably why.
I went to public school.
I didn't realize that you were the outsider in that group.
I really was out of the group, yeah.
So yeah, I used to love walking in like the hall. Everything's so clean. It was, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. And it just reminds you of being in school for the good reasons. And then as we know, as the months go by, it just turns into just garbage.
It really does. It really does. I like that you hit on that because that's going to link into one that I have later. But next up, wearing your football jersey to school on Friday. Oh. When Friday Night Lights came out and I saw Tim Riggins wearing his jersey on Fridays, I was like, this is flashing back to the Upper Merion Vikings and wearing my jersey on Friday. Oh.
You guys thought you
felt so cool. You rolled the sleeves, even though I had like pencil arms. I was like 6'1", 145 pounds. And I was like, let me just roll these sleeves up real quick. Wearing your jersey was everything.
At my school, because they were trying to promote girls' sports, we would wear them on Fridays because I wasn't. The cheerleaders would wear I actually do remember wanting to wear the cheerleader outfits because they were so much cooler than my stupid jersey. But yeah,
you were wearing your soccer jersey? Was soccer in the fall or spring?
Soccer's fall in New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a fall.
Okay.
So my other favorite thing about the first day of school, going to the lunchroom, like we had long tables and benches and figuring out what your new spot was going to be. And at our school, there was a cool table, and establishing yourself and being able to sit at the cool table, depending on what grade you were in. I used to love figuring out where that was going to be.
I like that. I feel like I thought I was at the cool table, but as years have gone by after high school, I'm like, I don't know if it was the cool table. I'm not sure. I think I just thought it was, and I thought I'm really big of myself.
In your camp on that one.
Ego was a little high, maybe.
All right, what's your last one?
Okay, last one is, I just going to say, girls. Like, that was awesome. Like, you were all summer playing baseball or whatever and doing but you got to see all the girls again. I mean, that was it, man. That was school. Thank goodness it was public school. All my boys that you're talking about going to all boys schools, they didn't get number 3. I got number 3.
We had that conversation a lot in our house because my husband went to all boys school, K through 12. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you don't understand girls at all.
No,
you have no sisters. You weren't going to school
behind
with
the
girls.
8 ball. Behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right, what's the bad one? I know what Ked's is. It's not having girls in school. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's his bad one for sure. Actually, he says to this day, he's like, I think I was a better student because we didn't have girls. I would probably agree.
That's probably true.
Yeah. All right, I would say, do you want to know my least favorite day of the first day of school is?
Yeah.
Actually,
Wait, what?
It's the second day.
Oh, because the juice is gone after day 1.
The second day is like the first day you have the outfit, the supply, you're ready to go, you're excited. It's social hour. No one's really teaching anything yet. You get a supply list. You meet your teachers. Everyone's nice. Yep. The second day, it's like lessons begin. It's like, well,
no, we're back to school.
Like, come on. You have homework the second day. So for the start of school, I just don't like the second day. Dread it.
Okay. I'm going to say it was really hot. Like, we didn't have air conditioning. So it was hot. And I remember that being like, well, this is miserable. Like, my house has air conditioning. like this is, and you remember, like, you were just like, good grief. And then we had rules. Did you have rules? Like you had to, like, by a certain day at the end of the year, you could start wearing shorts. And in the beginning of the year, you could wear shorts up until a certain time. Then you had to wear school was hot. I guess they built a new school. They knocked my high school down, but rightfully so.
Rightfully so. It sounds it didn't have the smell, no AC. I still think though everyone knows that feeling of even just like the feel in the air when school's here. You know it's there, it's coming. Summer's over and football's here. That's right. Really what it is now, right? That's what it's transitioned to now. So.
Exactly. I wish I still had my jersey. This is wonderful. Go catch a flight, head to DC, tell Terry McLaurin to get on the field, and have them hammer out a deal. Maybe you're the one that pushes this over the goal line. That's Dianna Russini, senior NFL insider for The Athletic, mayor of Scoop City, appointed by Dianna Russini and James Palmer. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching Scoop City. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. New episodes of Scoop City drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.